Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Yazz'n and you're watching Yazz'n It Up. And today's video I have for you guys is another ranking video. I already ranked all of my foundations from best to worst, and I also ranked all of my blushes, my individual single blushes. I ranked those from my favorite to my least favorite. Today I'm going to be doing face powders with you guys. I decided to do face powders because right now here in North Carolina it is getting really hot and your girl is super oily, so I just wanted to recommend some great face powders for you guys, and I'm just going to be going through my entire collection of all of my face powders and listing them from my favorite to my least favorite. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I'm ranking all of my powders, go ahead and keep on watching. So I actually have one in my collection that I have not yet tried, and it is from the drugstore. Most of my powders are actually from the drugstore. They have really great loose powders. I prefer loose powders over pressed powders. If you guys don't know, even before I get into this powder, I have really oily skin, especially in my T-zone, so I really need to powder up. So I have one in my collection that I have not yet tried from the drugstore. It's actually from Revlon, and this is the Photo Ready Candid Setting Powder, and I have mine in the shade 001, and I haven't tested it out yet because I just purchased it recently, but I will say just from opening it, I do not like the packaging on this. So it has this little like lid here and you pop it open, and then it has all the holes for you to do the loose powder, and I just feel like if I had to dump it all out, it would just get super messy, and I would have to dump it all back in, you know, and it's just having to go back and forth. That really drives me crazy. So I didn't know that when I purchased this powder, but I have not actually tested out the actual powder yet, so I don't want to you know, put this towards the beginning of my list or the end of the list. I just want to show you that this is in my powder collection and I haven't tried it yet. I am looking forward to trying it. So this was the first one that I have in my collection for Revlon. In total, I do have 14 face powders, so I have 13 face powders that I'm going to be ranking for you guys, and this one is number 13, which is actually a high-end face powder. This one is from Lorac. This is the Lorac Pro Blurring Translucent Loose Powder. Here's what this guy looks like. I actually picked this up at Kohl's at a discounted price. I was super excited to test this out, and as you guys can see, it's number 13 on my list. This one I am not a fan of. I don't even want to open it up to show you guys because this is so dirty. Like, this packaging was a miss completely. This powder gets everywhere. The scent of the powder is not good. It's like literally you inhale it. Even if you don't mean to, you're gonna inhale it, and it's just not a good feeling. I'm so disappointed in the packaging of this. I'm disappointed in the actual product because I don't like the way the product looks on me, and I'm so sad that I wasted my money on this, and this powder just gets everywhere. It's super messy. I would not recommend this powder at all. Maybe I will transfer this into a different container that will be less messy, and maybe I'll fall in love with the powder, but as of right now, this honestly just sits in the back of my drawer because I'm not a fan of this powder. So number 12 on my list, another high-end powder. I'm looking, I aligned all my powders. Most of my high-end powders are towards the end of my list, and all of my drugstore ones are towards the beginning of the list. That just says a lot. There is one high-end powder that I do want to try. I do want to try the Laura Mercier translucent powder. That one is super hyped up, and I also want to try the peach powder from Too Faced, if they even still sell that. I don't know if they do. Those two high-end powders I really want to try. So this one I picked up from TJ Maxx. This is the Marc Jacobs powder. This is the Finish Line powder and number 34 Invisible, and this one I'm not a fan of because of a couple reasons. Number one, the packaging. I hate that there's a little sifter here. Usually I just dump a bunch of powder out, or I'll just take this white part off. It comes off completely. I'm spilling powder everywhere. So I don't like the packaging of it because I like to take my face sponge and dump it into the powder. So the packaging drives me crazy, but also the powder's just okay. Like, especially for Marc Jacobs, a high end, I really expect a lot, and this just isn't helping me. This is really towards the bottom because of the packaging, but also the powder's just average. So I wouldn't recommend this one either unless you specifically want to use this. For example, if you have drier skin and you just want to use this in your T-zone, maybe where you're a little bit more oily, or if you want to use this for your under eyes, if you're going to be dipping a brush in here, that would work for you, but if you're dipping your sponge in here, it's not going to work out for you, boo. So this one is towards the end of my list, unfortunately. Another powder that I don't get a lot of use out of is for this one from Too Faced. This is the Too Faced Do You Face powder, and this says it's a fresh glow translucent setting powder. I have oily skin, like I said before. I don't know what I was thinking going and buying a glowy face powder, like what is that gonna do for me? This works really good in my under eyes during the winter because this is super light and brightening. So during the winter, I'm not tan, you know, I'm pretty pale. So I'll use this under my eyes to set my concealer there, but that's literally I can use it for. I was so disappointed in this. I did not pay a full price for this. I picked this up at TJ Maxx as well, but like it's literally like a pearlescent powder. Like I don't understand. Like I could probably get away using this as highlight. So here's what this guy looks like. It has this seal here, and then you just have to pop this open, and it has a sifter as well. So this works out for me because the sifter here, I just take a brush and dip it in here and put it in my under eyes. It literally just looks like loose highlighter. I don't know what I was thinking buying this. I thought maybe I'll have dry skin and maybe I'll be able to use this dewy face powder. I don't know who I thought I was when I bought this, but I use this under my eyes during the winter and it looks really pretty, but any other time I cannot get away using this. So that's why this is towards the bottom of my list as well. Alright y'all, number 10 on my list, this is the Milk Makeup Powder. This is the Blur and Set Matte Loose Setting Powder is what it says. I picked this up at TJ Maxx. I was so excited to try this out, and it's okay. It's not the best. Obviously, it's number 10 on my list. I love how gigantic this powder is. I took the sifter or whatever was on top of here. I took it out. That way I was able to dip my sponge in this, and I don't know how it works, but literally every single time I dip my sponge in here and I start putting it all over my face, all of a sudden I have little brown specks everywhere, and then I try to smear it away and it just ruins my makeup because it literally looks like maybe I had loose eyeshadow somewhere, and if I smeared it, it's like I smeared brown eyeshadow all over my face. And I know it's the powder because some days I wouldn't even wear eyeshadow and I would just be setting my face with this powder, super natural day, and I would just have little brown smears everywhere. It's like there's a crushed bronzer in here, and every time I use the powder I have little specks of brown everywhere. So it takes me forever to try to use this product because I'm setting my face with powder and then I'm carefully trying to wipe away the powder, not smearing any bronzer or like brown eyeshadow, whatever you want to call it. There's something in here that went wrong, and I don't know if it's just because I got a bad powder or if that's how it naturally is, like that's how they mix in the powder to make it look darker. But this was just a dud for me. I like the powder, it's just that I don't know if they mixed the powder wrong or if there's like an actual crushed bronzer in here on accident. I don't know how it works out, but this one was a dud for me in that regard. But the actual powder, like the actual product, is so good. I love the way it sits on my skin, so that is disappointing. It just takes me a little bit longer to set my face when I do use this powder. So number 9 on my list, this is the Morphe Bacon Set Setting Spray, and I have mine in the shade Translucent. So this Morphe one, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I think the packaging is super small. Like I wish it was more product, like they had like a jumbo version, but this powder is just really good. They have a bunch of different shades in it, and I got mine at Ulta, so this one I really do like. The next powder I have here, this one is from Juvia's Place. This is the I Am Magic Setting Powder, and I have mine in the shade White Sands. I also picked this up from Ulta, and this thing is so teeny tiny. I feel like low-key this is like a travel size version of this, even though it's the actual full-size version. I just feel like this is super small, so I am able to fit my face sponge in it, but I just feel like this packaging is so tiny. I wish it came in a bigger size, but this one is really good. This one does not have a white cast, and I'm able to use this all over my face, and it helps me stay matte for majority of the day. So the only thing I have with this is just the size of it. I wish it was just a little bit bigger, but I do really like this Juvia's Place face powder, and it does come in a bunch of different shades as well. Alright y'all, my 7th powder I have here is from the ShopMize website. This is the AOA Studio Perfect Setting Powder, and I have mine in the shade Banana. This I actually use all over my face, and when I wipe it away or if I set my face with setting spray, you can't even tell that it's like a banana shade. It's more like a translucent one. This one is awesome because it's super affordable. I think it was only like $1 or $1.55. The only thing is that I had a bad experience with the ShopMize website, so I'm no longer purchasing from them. But when I finish this powder, it's just gonna go on my MD, so I will not be purchasing it after this. But while I have it, I do enjoy the powder. I love using this all over my face, and I love that it's super affordable. It just sucks that the experience I had made me not want to purchase from that website anymore. So that's all I have to say about this. It's a great powder. If you guys want to go ahead and purchase it, like I said, it's the ShopMize website. Everything is pretty much $1, and this works really well for me. I love using this all over my face. Number 6 in my ranking, this is the HD Flawless Setting Powder from Absolute New York. I picked this up at TJ Maxx, and this reminds me of a combination between a NYX setting powder that I used to use and one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite setting powder from Rimmel, the Rimmel Stay Matte. This is like if they, you know, went together and had a baby, this is their baby. This one is awesome. I absolutely love this powder, and I'm honestly running pretty low on it. I have only seen this brand at TJ Maxx, and I've seen this powder a couple times, so next time I go to TJ Maxx I need to pick up this powder because I'm super low on it. This is one of my favorites. I love using this all over my face. There's no white cast. It's translucent. Once you put it on your face and you blend it in, like if you tap it in with a sponge, it's completely gone, but it sets your entire face. This one is awesome. I love this one. The brand again is Absolute New York. Next, I have a couple pressed powders. I only have a couple in my collection because, like I said, I do prefer loose powders over pressed powders. But this one is the ShopMize powder, the AOA Studio Perfect Finished Pressed Powder. And I have mine in the shade Banana as well. This is perfect for touch-ups and especially under the eyes. If I'm just doing concealer, you know, just to do a very, very natural makeup day, I will use this to set my concealer. This works really, really well, or you could put this in your purse and do it for touch-ups. Especially I get oily around my nose and on my chin. This is awesome for that. Another wonderful touch-up powder is this one from e.l.f. It's all crumbly because I literally have used it to death, and then there's always a product around the rim and then it breaks apart, so now there's just little pieces of the powder in here. So this is the e.l.f. Prime and Stay finishing powder, and I have mine in the shade light/medium. So this one is really awesome, like I said, for touch-ups. Right now the remaining powder that I have in here, I'm just using it to set my eyelid primer because I don't want to just throw this away. Like, there's still some product in here. Maybe I will even crush it up and I'll, you know, try to make it like a loose powder and set my face with that. That's how I tend to use the remaining of my face powders, especially when it gets like this condition. Like, you always have product around the rim. Sometimes it stays in there, sometimes it gets hard panned, sometimes it, you know, comes apart and it starts crumbling. There's so many different ways that you can use it afterwards. Like I said, setting your eyelid primer or crushing it yourself and using it as loose powder, or some people just tend to throw it away, or you can repress it. So I love this powder. e.l.f. is super affordable, and this is awesome for touch-ups, like I said before. Y'all, we are in the top 3 face powders already. I feel like I've been going through these powders super fast. All of my top 3 loose powders are all from the drugstore. You do not need to spend an excessive amount of money on makeup in general, but on face powders, especially, like I said, I'm super oily and I pack on the powder because I know throughout the day I need to stay matte. Otherwise, I just look like a greasy fried chicken. So the number 3 powder that I'm ranking is this one from Maybelline. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Press Powder, and I have mine in the shade Fair Light number 10. This is awesome. I use this all over my face. I'll set this with setting spray and it looks so natural, so beautiful, and it keeps me matte majority of the day. I have never met a powder that kept me matte throughout the day completely. My favorite one, which I actually don't have one in my collection because I used it up, is the Rimmel Stay Matte. I talked about it before. That one keeps me matte the longest, and it's so cheap. It's like $4.99 and it blurs out my pores. That is my number 1 top favorite powder. It's just I don't find it in my Walmart anymore. I can only get it online, so I'm scared they're gonna discontinue it. God forbid they discontinue that powder. Anyway, back to this powder. Maybelline Fit Me. They have it in so many shades. It's so affordable. I think this is maybe like $8 and it lasts me a very long time. They have a sifter. I just dump a bunch of product onto the lid and I use the product that I dump on with my sponge and I tap it into my skin. Make sure I'm pressing it. That way all the powder, you know, the foundation and the powder together, they come together to mattify. So this one is really, really good. I love this face powder. Highly, highly recommend this one. My second favorite loose powder that I have in my collection right now is from I Heart Revolution. I picked this up at Ulta and this is in peach. This is their scented baking powder, and I know they have a coconut one, I know they have a banana one, and then they have the peach one. I feel like they have one more that I'm missing, but I picked up the peach one first. I do really want to try the coconut one because that's like their translucent kind of one. So this has a slight tint to it, but I love the packaging. It is gigantic. It's like the size of the, what's that called, the Coty Airspun. It's really, really big. So I really, really appreciate that because, like I said, I use a bunch of powder, and this I think was like $7. Super affordable. I'm starting to purchase more of the I Heart Revolution products because I'm like 90% sure it's the sister brand to Makeup Revolution, and I love all products from Makeup Revolution that I've tried so far. So I'm starting to purchase the I Heart Revolution makeup items and I'm loving them So this one is my second favorite powder in my collection, and it's awesome, especially if you have oily skin. Alright y'all, last but not least, my favorite powder is the powder that I'm wearing today. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Powder. This thing is gigantic, you know, just the same size as the Coty Airspun or the I Heart Revolution one that I just showed you. This is awesome. It blurs out my pores. It sets my face. There's so much product in here and there's no scent to it. You know, I just press it into my skin, and when I do my setting spray afterwards, you can barely even tell that I have powder on with the excessive amount of powder that I put on. And for you not to tell that I'm wearing powder is awesome, because sometimes when you put powders on, you can tell you're wearing powder. Sometimes it's caked on. Not with this guy. You could put as much powder as you want and you would not be able to tell that there's powder on your face, especially after you use setting spray. So this one is really, really good. Wet n Wild is so affordable in general. I think that this gigantic powder was like $5, and this is like my second one, but this is my #1 favorite loose powder in my collection that I have right now. Wet n Wild's Photo Focus Translucent Powder. Definitely recommend it, especially if you guys have oily skin. This will set you and this will help you stay matte, especially through the heat of the summer. Alright guys, that is all of the face powders that I have in my collection. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you guys have not yet seen my other 2 ranking videos, I will have those linked in the iCards for you guys. You guys can check out my channel. I'll try to create a playlist for you guys. That way you can see all of my ranking videos. I do definitely want to do my eyeshadow collection and rank those from best to worst. And I know I want to do my setting sprays and I want to do my highlighters. I just have so many that I want to rank for you guys. I figured that this one would be awesome, especially for the summer. Like I said, it's so hot here in North Carolina that I really am relying on powder to try to keep my face completely matte for majority of the day. If you guys aren't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that red button down below. There's also a little bell next to it that you can click on to get notified when I upload new videos. If you aren't already following me on my social media, I have 2 Instagram accounts. One for my small business is called Treats by Yazz'n, and my personal account is Yazz'n_it_up. If you guys want to go ahead and follow me on IG, and also I will have Snapchat listed down below for you guys. I hope you're all being safe and have a great day.